Hi everybody, it's me, Dean Miller, and we are back live on the Wolf Driver channel. If you're not familiar with Wolf Driver, you should be. Well, if you found us, I guess you are familiar with Wolf Driver to some extent. I'm hoping that you guys have checked out some of the other shows, programming, insight, photos, articles, comments, information. The Wolf Driver's got it all if you're looking for stuff about dogs. We have so many shows, so many pictures, so many interesting things going on. I'm here twice a week. My name is Dean Miller, and I'm the dog counselor. I'm a dog behavior specialist and trainer. And I'm on here every Thursday at, and is this 8? Thursday at 8 and Sunday at 6. I think that's right. And you can come and check me out and listen to some of my stories and stuff about dogs and my experiences with dogs, and give advice and stuff like that. So you can write to me. I see somebody's already writing some information there, but I'm not sure what they mean. But you can write to me here on while we're talking. This is live, unless you're watching it later and it's not live. If you're watching it later, it's taped. But right now we're live, and I would love to hear your comments and thoughts and questions about dog training. Some of the things are easier to answer than others. A lot of people write to me and say, how do I fix my aggressive dog? Well, I can't really tell you in 2 seconds on a live feed on Facebook how to fix your aggressive dog. But I do in-home training. I come to people's houses for 90 minutes to train. I also do Skype training if you're not in the Nashville area. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's where I do my training and teaching. I do in-home training, Skype training, phone call training. I can help you in a lot of different ways. So if you want to write to me or call me or send spoke signals or Morse code, I'll try to help you any way I can. I've been training dogs for maybe 15 years, something like that, and I'm pretty intuitive about how they communicate and how a person can learn to communicate with their dog, and how to get the best results from speaking the same language with your dog. I see a note here. Hey, one of my dogs. Hey, quit! One of my dogs is growling at the window, and there must be somebody outside. Thank you for checking out in the window, pal. Thanks for securing the window. Okay, let's see. Somebody here wrote me a note. Let's see. Diana wrote a note that said, "Hey, Dean, we made it to Florida. My dog hasn't been the same since his long drive down, but he's home." Has he been exhausted or tired or depressed, or I'm not really sure what that means. And how long have you been there? Are you moving? I need more details to help you out. But in general, when a dog is moving or going to a new location, they're craving leadership, and what we tend to give them too much of is just love and affection without structure and leadership. And a dog is often looking for structure and leadership, as well as having that love. So I'm trying to get that logo to look just right. It's got some reflections. On these shows, on these Wolf Driver shows, these live feeds, we have to be our own director, producer, writer, star. So when I adjust the screen and do all this stuff, it's because I'm my own stage manager, my own production manager. I also do my own lights. If you want to see, I'm my own lighting person. So I kind of have my own thing going here. Anyway, I'm rambling, getting off track, as I often do. But I would like to talk to you today. The topic I was going to choose to talk about dogs and dog training today was, I have an incident going on right now with someone whom I've trained multiple times. This woman adopted a dog, and it's her first dog, okay? So she adopted her first dog from a rescue, sight unseen, kind of based the adoption on, thinking the dog was cute, loving the dog. It turns out the dog is full of past behaviors that it's bringing from its history. We don't know much about the dog's history, but we do know that the dog lunges, bites, I wouldn't say fully attacks, but really has drawn blood, just doesn't hang on and kill somebody, but certainly punctures the skin with one single bite. And boy, he puts on a bluff and is scary sometimes. So the woman that I'm working with adopted this dog as her first dog, and she was really committed to learning how to work with the dog, what to do best. But she lives in a second floor apartment with a large dog, no fenced yard, a history of aggression and biting, and she's a first-time owner. These are a lot of things that are stacked against this working out. I hardly ever give up on a dog. I mean, I really am not going to give up on a dog unless there's just absolutely no other choice. I'll try every option. However, I do believe, just like people can be mismatched, dogs and people can be mismatched, the wrong dog for the wrong person for the wrong dog. If you're not experienced and you have sort of maybe a milder energy, a milder approach to life, and you have an aggressive dog that comes from a background that's biting and aggressive, and the dog is on 10 and you're dealing with it on a level 4 or 5 or 6, that dog is going to overpower you with his instinct and aggression. So it's not anybody's fault. It's just sometimes that people and dogs are mismatched. If given the option early on, I would not have matched this dog with this person and this living situation with this dog. But here's the thing: now once they're together, they bond. The dog starts to depend on the woman begins to love the dog and depend on the dog. And then here we are in a terrible situation several months later where the person feels that they can't part with the dog, but the dog is more than they can handle. I've worked with them several times. I've shown the woman things to do. It's nobody's fault, really. I mean, I can help to a certain extent, but I can't make you be a different person and the dog be a different dog. I often use the analogy of going to prison. Okay, when a dog goes into a rescue, a dog is a pack animal. They're social. They're bred to be social with us, social with other dogs. If they're kept with other dogs early on with their brothers and sisters and their mother in the first few weeks of life, they learn a huge amount about teaching and house training and different things. And then those first few months of life with a human and in a home, they're learning incredibly valuable things about life and how to be social. Now, if a dog is pulled away from its mother too soon, if a dog is thrown into a shelter, if a dog doesn't have a pack it can rely on, if the dog doesn't get human interaction and socialization, it can really bend that dog's view of life, okay? And many dogs will retreat inward and say, I may not be an alpha dog, I may not be a leader, but I can't depend on anyone else. Every other dog is gone, or people disappear, or the other animals leave me alone, or the person leaves me, and then I'm stuck in this environment with kennels and cages and slamming doors and dogs barking and loudness. And it is very much like going to prison. And it's very much like going to prison at a very early young age. So you can imagine a young puppy growing up in that environment, in rescue after rescue, or let's say they're neglected. Let's say they're just in a yard neglected, or they're chained up, or they're mistreated, or we don't know anything about this particular dog's background. But I assure you that if they were given up on and ended up in a rescue, they've been through a lot. It may not be as bad as I described, but it's certainly going to be a lot. If someone's willing to give up on a dog and throw them out or put them into rescue, they've certainly been through a lot. Okay, at the very least, they're going to have some trust issues. They're going to have developed their own defense mechanisms and way of dealing with life. Not all dogs, but many dogs do start to rely on themselves. So it is sort of a prison mentality. It's like coming out of prison and bringing that mentality with you. And then you move into a nice home in a nice neighborhood with nice people, and they expect you to be sweet and kind and wonderful and walk on a leash and all this stuff. And if people around you are acting soft, they're acting sweet, they're using sweet tones of voice and giving treats and doing all this stuff, that dog may fall in love with that person. But oftentimes they're not going to say that person's a leader. That person is the type of person to stand between me and the scary stuff in the world. So the dog kind of develops an attitude of, okay, thanks for the treats, I love you, I can trust you, I bond with you, but when other people come over or when we go on a walk, I'm the tough one. I've been to prison, I know how to handle this, right? So then you develop you get a dog that develops an overt sense of security. They make themselves the self-appointed security guard of your life. And that can become a very dangerous position to be in. The dog that I've been using as an example just would hit the roof when strangers would come over, or when the dog was surprised, or someone new would come up, or the woman would be on a walk with the dog. And the dog would go from zero to attack in a moment. And the woman handling the dog, her nature is to be quieter, more submissive, a little bit soft. And that dog is not going to turn over their authority to a person like that if they don't feel they can handle it better than they can. Beyond that issue, I believe that dogs, just like people, can suffer post-traumatic stress disorder. They can suffer from something bad having happened to them. And so if this dog was abused, if this dog was abandoned, if this dog was neglected, or was in a shelter or sad environments, or tossed around and given up on, often these dogs develop just reactions to things. Somebody reaches for the dog reacts because it's been reached for in a negative way before. Or maybe someone gets up really quickly and the dog reacts because they're startled. It's kind of like a person who comes back from war, and let's say they've been on the battlefield, and then a car backfires, or somebody sets off a firecracker. That person's not thinking, I'm going to freak out now. That person doesn't think it through or have rational thought about it. That person is simply reacting. So I may be repeating myself here, but I often say that there's no knowledge behind instinct. So if a dog has an instinct to survive, an instinct to protect itself, an instinct to take care of its own life, a dog, is going to react. They're not going to think this through. This person's reaching for me. I wonder what they mean by that. I don't know what's going on here. A dog's not going to do that. They're going to go reach, boom, react. They're going to survive and think about it later. They may even feel like, ooh, I've done something wrong, or realize or snap out of it, or not continue to be aggressive. But in that moment, there's no thought behind it. They are simply surviving, reacting. Okay? So, I would say that oftentimes this is really painful and hard to think about, but if you have a dog that is beyond you, you have to think about what's best for the dog. Now, a dog with a history of biting is often going to be put back into rescue and possibly euthanized. They don't have as great a chance as dogs that get along easily, no muss, no fuss. You want to know if you return the dog, if the dog's going to be put down. I know that's a horrendous circumstance. But at the same time, if you are hanging on to a dog to satisfy your own needs, that's not good for the dog either. So you're keeping a dog that is already fearful, aggressive, reactionary. You keep that dog because you feel guilty, you feel pain. Oh, I don't want to hurt the dog. Oh, I don't want to hurt my dog's feelings, or whatever. And then you're projecting these complicated human emotions onto the dog. You can see the kind of situation that develops. What I'm encouraging people to do is, long before you bring a dog home to your environment, long before you adopt a dog, really think through all of these things. Am I the right person for this dog? Am I equipped to handle this much dog? Take the dog for walks. Take the dog into various situations. See what the dog is going to be like before you go home. Don't just say, I love that dog's cute, we get along great, let's go home. That's making a 15-year commitment in 5 minutes. And I wouldn't do it in a relationship, and I wouldn't do it with a dog. You need to really think it through and think about where you're headed with this. What is your relationship to this dog? So let's take a moment. I'm going to check my time here. I always end up rambling, and I don't know what the time is. Okay, we're about halfway through now. I want to read this comment here. Let's see. Oh, this is Diana again. We moved down here, I assume Florida, on the 30th of July. He drove, we flew. He's been so good. He even lets the neighbor pet him. It's like a brand new dog. Okay, I'm sorry to say I don't remember all the other issues we talked about in the past. I have 6,000 dogs all the time, so I'm constantly training. Let's say I was able to tune in my dog Let me just look closer at this. I have to get right up on the phone to read these because my glasses. So sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so glad I was able to tune in. My dog has been through a lot. He's aggressive, but only on the leash. He's been good ever since his trip down here. We walk him now before he had a yard, so he just... Okay. I think I'm getting the idea here. Okay. Well, when you walk a dog on a leash, you want to walk them in a way that shows that you're confident and that you're the leader. And so if you're walking that way, the leash can be a tool. It's sort of like a handshake. So if I go to meet you and I say, go to shake your hand, and let's say I'm wimpy. Let's say I go, oh, hi, it's nice to meet you. You make a judgment about me that I'm weak. But if I say, hi, it's nice to meet you, you make a judgment about me that I'm confident and strong. Well, the same thing when you grab that leash. When you say, oh, come on, let's go for a walk. The dog is a dog that's, nervous or aggressive might perceive that you're not in control. So you're holding that leash, you're holding them back. And you see, a dog has, for example, when they come into a situation that they're not sure of, they can often rely on their fight or flight instinct. And if you're holding the leash, you can be inhibiting both. They can't run away if there's danger, and they can't fight for themselves because you're holding them back. So that can escalate a situation often. It can make a situation explode. But if they think you're confident, you have it under control, you're walking with a loose leash, but you're firm about it and in control, that can help a dog perceive that you've got it, that you're under control. So when you talk about leash walking, Diana, that's probably conveying to the dog more that you're in control and that there's more structure to your walks. He's being exposed to more, and there's someone leading him and showing him how to view life. You want to be careful because you said you just moved, and I don't know how many days it's been. Oh, the 30th. Sometimes when a dog goes through a long trauma, like a long road trip or something, they can become exhausted or even shut down. And we can confuse that calm shut down thing for, oh, he's so relaxed and he's so happy. But sometimes they're just, coming out of their shell. They're just relaxing after the long trip, and pretty soon they become their normal selves. So you want to watch for him to possibly have a little bit of aggression if he's had a history of aggression before. You want to watch for those things coming up. Watch for making sure he's still the dog that you left with. So sometimes there's an adjustment period. And this is something I often tell my clients. When we move, when we go somewhere different, when there's change, a dog is not, they don't look at change as fun sometimes. They look at it sometimes as being more challenging, more difficult. So when we change, have a lot of change in a dog's life, our instinct is to oftentimes say, it's okay, everything's fine, I love you, oh, everything's good, you're okay, and soothe them, right? But that's not really what a dog's looking for in a situation where there's a lot of change. When a dog is trying to adjust to a new situation, go into a new situation, is nervous, has a new home, has change in their routine, what a dog is looking for most is a confident, firm leader that says, I got you, okay? So I often use this analogy. If you were walking up to a haunted house and you had a 4-year-old with you, the 4-year-old is not looking for you, the 4-year-old is not looking for you to say, it's okay, everything's fine. They're looking for you to say, I got you, you're safe, I'll protect you, let's go. That makes you feel relaxed. It helps a dog to relax, to know that there's an alpha dog, a leader, more in control than he or she is. So think about that. When you move, when you go to a new house, when you go to new situations, it's really nice to put your dog on a leash, take him into the new house, take him into the new situation, and be a leader. Come, sit, come on, let's go. Be strong, come on. And show them that you are controlling the environment, controlling the situation. Not in a harsh way, not in a negative way, but in a firm, parental sort of way. That's a good way to look at it. Be more parental and show that you have control over the new situation. It comforts a dog. It helps a dog relax, okay? So if you can look at it that way, that's often a way to go into a new situation. Now back on the subject of mismatched people and dogs, I've addressed this over and over again. I've addressed it in other episodes, but I'm going to readdress it right now. Please, 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 before you adopt a dog, ask yourself and be honest about a list of questions that you can say, this is what my life is like. This is what lifestyle a dog would fit in my life. This is what, look for the dog that fits you and your lifestyle. Don't go out and base adopting a dog on the cuteness of the breed, the face, oh, he's just so beautiful, whatever. You have to have, you have to have so many elements in adopting a dog. It's just like having a marriage. It's like having a 15-year marriage. Your dog's going to live possibly 15 or more years. Don't just make that decision in 5 minutes. Spend time with the dog. Watch the dog's personality. Is the dog connecting to you, looking at you, loving you? Are you guys having a connection? Or is the dog off and interested in 15 other things while you're sitting there? If possible, take the dog somewhere else. Take the dog home with you. Take the dog for an overnight stay to see how things are going. Get to know your dog, okay? Really don't jump into it. Don't dive into it. And I really strongly, strongly encourage you to look at your home and your home life and your lifestyle. If you live in a second floor apartment with no fenced yard and you work 12 hours a day and you're hardly ever home, you're not going to want to get probably a dog at all, but you're certainly not going to want to get a border collie or an Australian cattle dog or a dog that's built to work and go all day. It is not fair to that dog to put that kind of a dog in a little fishbowl of an apartment and spend an hour or two a day with him. Your relationship to your dog is just that, a relationship, and it's a lifelong commitment. The life of your dog or your life, whichever comes first. Till death do us part, that's how I feel about dogs. Till death do us part, unless there is some extraordinary set of circumstances where you just absolutely cannot have the dog with you. I'm a big believer in taking adoption very seriously. So, before you get married, date, right? Date your dog. I know that sounds crazy, but spend time with your dog in a way that you're getting to know each other. Can I live with this dog for 15 years? Can I love this dog for 15 years? And this is the thing that people do not consider. Can I provide for this dog and fulfill this dog's needs for the life of this dog? That means medical issues. That means, I have 4 dogs, okay? I make this joke every time I go to the vet. I say, I'm just here to pour some more money into your cash register, because I go there and it's just like they're siphoning my pocket, okay? Because there are things you don't consider. Shots and unexpected injuries and sicknesses. And my dogs have over the years cost thousands of dollars. I don't complain a bit because I love them and I do anything for them. But think about what it's going to cost to have a dog. Food, medical care. Think about, you can't go out and stay out overnight places without knowing that your dog is cared for. You can't go away for the weekend for 2 days and just leave your dog alone without someone caring for and checking on your dog. It's a relationship, okay? Can you live this lifestyle? Can I be home every 6 hours at the most to let my dog go to the bathroom? If you can't come home and let your dog go to the bathroom, if you're going to be gone 14-hour days, that's not fair to a dog. That's not right. So, at least a dog walker or someone who can check on your dog. Just really think these things through. People don't think. They go into a shelter, or they go into a place, or worse, they look online and they say, look at that cute little face. That's the dog I want. And they go get that dog. And that dog's a killer, that dog is not right for them, that dog has too much energy, too little energy, whatever. There are so many things to consider. Maybe by the next episode I'll come up with a checklist of things that I think you should consider when you're adopting a new dog. I also would caution you on this. Let me check the time here because I need to, okay, we've only got 6 minutes left. See, I ramble and the time just goes. I would really caution you when you're adopting a rescue dog. I highly believe in rescue dogs. Okay, I would never buy a dog fresh, from a breeder or a store. I think that there are too many dogs that are unwanted and thrown away, and I would adopt one of them before I would ever go and buy a dog from a breeder or from a store. However, be cautious about responsible rescues and responsible shelters. There are many rescues and shelters that will tell you anything to get that dog out the door because, they have a high volume that they're dealing with. Any rescue, any shelter, it knows that there is a vast flood of unwanted dogs coming through, and they want to find homes, and they're desperate to find homes for these dogs. So sometimes they fudge a little bit. They say things they shouldn't say to get the dog out the door. They say things to you to get you to adopt the dog, to make the dog appear cuter. They'll tell you things like, oh, he's house trained, don't worry about it. No, he doesn't bite. No, he doesn't. No, just don't worry about it, until you get out the door, and then it's your problem. Because they're just trying to clear a space for the next dog and the next dog and the next dog, because they know how big the problem is. I would never take away from rescue. I think it's heroes work. I think the people are angels out there who do rescue responsibly and who help dogs get adopted. But make your own judgments. Look past what people are saying on the surface. Meet your dog, work with your dog, live with your dog, sleep with your dog before you decide to commit to your dog for years and years. I know this seems like a lot, but you'll be sorry, I promise you, if you make a spur-of-the-moment 5-minute decision and a year from now you're battling issues you never considered because you didn't think it through. So just be careful with making sure your dog matches you and you match your dog for a myriad of reasons. I'm going to check this time. I think I'm running out of time. I am. So let me just tell you about a couple of things real quickly here. I'm going to show you my book. I've written a book, and this is something I don't understand about Facebook live streaming. It reverses the image. I promise you, my book is not written backwards. I promise you, these images aren't backwards. But for some reason, the Facebook page projects the image backwards. This is my book, A Dog's Way: How Dogs Make Us Better People, and I would suggest you check it out. It's on Amazon.com or at my website, which is thedogcounselor.com. Again, this is my dog Henry on the back. I just want to show you my dog Henry because I love him and I'm proud of him. In fact, he's right over there. But anyway, and any problems you have, anything you'd like to discuss in more detail, I can be reached through thedogcounselor.com, my website. That's counselor, like I counsel people about their dogs. So, it's dean@thedogcounselor.com. That's my email address, and my website is thedogcounselor.com. Obviously, I'm repeating myself, but please contact me if I can help you with any behavior or training issues, decisions you have to make. If you just want some advice, please call me, contact me, email me. I'll be happy to help. And again, we're here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, Sunday night at 6 o'clock. On the Wolf Driver channel, which is this channel, and you ought to check out the other stuff. They have music, they have other shows about, the Wolf Driver himself is the founder of the channel, and he goes out on his dog sleds with wheels. They're amazing little things that you can see. They're wheeled sleds, and he's like a sled driver except no snow with wheels. And he has a myriad of shows and songs and stories and books and whatever. It's all on this channel. So if you're a dog lover, you're going to love everything they have to offer on Wolf Driver. And please join us every Thursday at 8 and Sunday at 6 for this particular show, which is The Dog Counselor. I'm Dean Miller, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you enjoy this, please write in. Please let us know how you feel about it. Please like the Wolf Driver page. We look forward to having you every week. I really enjoy doing this, and I thank you for the opportunity to listen and talk to you about your dogs. Again, Dean Miller, the Dog Counselor, signing off. Good to see you guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.